Obviously, the movie Think Like a Man was written by Steve Harvey. I read that you didn't have the greatest relationship with Steve.
See, that's the headline. Dude put me in like a broke down closet with no mirror, no bathroom, and I'm going, and I'm standing outside, and he's like, yeah, this is where you're gonna stay. And
got it, Steve Harvey. And then, you know, Steve can be kind of standoffish. And I remember that Detroit show between Katt and Steve.
Steve Harvey is certainly having the worst start of year in his long career thanks to Katt Williams' explosive interview. And now Shannon Sharpe got newer receipts about the terrible side of Harvey. Straight from the mouth of Gary Owen in his revealing Club Shay interview, Gary Owen revealed more about his time working on the Steve Harvey Show with fellow comedian Steve Harvey.
Guest.
Okay.
He pulled me aside and was like, he's telling me like, I'm about to move this show to LA. We're going to make it a nighttime feel, but a daytime talk show, but I want to bring you on.
The talk show aired from 2012 until 2017, and Owen worked as the announcer for about 2 weeks. The ride-along actor detailed his experience on the show, and even mentioned Harvey's stepdaughter model Lori Harvey during his chat with Shannon Sharpe. When asked if he had a good relationship with Harvey, the Think Like a Man star told Sharpe, "He's always been cool with the comedian. That's the headlines talking," said Owen. "I've always been cool with Steve. What happened with that whole situation was when he moved his talk show from Chicago to LA, and I went on a show as a guest. He pulled me aside and was like, he's telling me like, I'm about to move this show to LA. We're going to make it a nighttime feel, but a daytime talk show. But I want to bring you on as like a co-host." Owen added that after a few months, a producer called him to discuss the gig out. "I don't think he knew who I was," said Owen. "I think he was looking at like, this is a favor, like, I don't have anything going on in my life, right? I could tell by the tone of conversation." The 49-year-old added he did not sign a contract, but agreed to do the show for 2 weeks to see how things went. On his first day, he was put in a beautiful dressing room, but it was later given to a guest on the show, comedian Chelsea Handler. It was allegedly her old dressing room, and Owen added that a staffer brought him to another dressing room. "So I thought that's fine. Just this episode, I'm walking around. But dude put me in like a broken down closet with no mirror, no bathroom." Owen revealed they basically said, "This were you going to be for the rest of the week?" And I was like, oh. Owen shared that when he asked for a better dressing room, black women came to the rescue, noting that it was a white man who had been helping him previously. "One of them black women stepped up. She knew who I was," said Owen, adding that the woman had given him a small dressing room with a small television set, couch, and bathroom. And he was good. Owen ultimately left the show due to only making SAG minimum and losing money by not being on the road doing stand-up. He'd made 3 times as much during a gig for hip-hop. The actor said he turned the gig down after he was offered another 2 weeks and wasn't offered the money he wanted. "I would say it's on Lori." He joked it was her fault. "You're not going to defend her. You're not going to defend her. You're not going to defend Lori Harvey, another black woman you don't defend," said Owen, a reference to Sharpe being criticized for dating white women. This is not the first time Harvey is being accused of mistreating those he works with. Fans have pulled clips of Mark Curry previously, accusing Harvey of stealing his Halloween joke, after Katt Williams claimed his Kings of Comedy co-star Cedric the Entertainer stole his joke for their special. Gary Owen first came forth to share his experience about previously working with Harvey on his talk show on his Get Some with Gary Owen podcast. "I just did Hip Hop Squares, the show DeRay Davis used to host, and I filmed 3 episodes in 1 day on Hip Hop Squares and made 4 times the money I made during 2 weeks of the Steve Harvey Show." He said it was only 2 people on the show every week. "It was me and Steve." Owen further explained, noting that he acted as the voice announcer on the show. "I just pretty much said give it up for Steve Harvey and I announced the guests and go back to my dressing room."
He was taken back. He was like, whoa, I just came to a show. And then Katt was like, yo, it's a comedy knockout, it's a fight.
Harvey allegedly approached Owen later about making money and bringing him on as a sidekick of the show and a spin-off with the 2 comics. But Owen developed a bad feeling early on after a lunch meeting with one of the talk show's producers, who shot down all of his comedy pitches. "He's shooting everything down." He goes, no, we'll handle that. We'll handle the sketches. But as an artist, he wanted creative control of how he made people laugh. "You ain't going to tell me that whatever you're coming up with is funnier than what I'm coming up with," said Owen. The 49-year-old said he was not involved in any of the show sketches during those 2 weeks, noting that he was paid minimum wage. Owen claims he realized that he couldn't survive on that small living wage, especially when he didn't know if they were going to hire me or not. He added, "I can't take a month off." Basically, 2017 was the first time the world really heard about the dark side of Steve Harvey that year. The veteran comedian addressed his shocking staff memo that was leaked in May. The memo, in which the then 60-year-old television personality wrote, "Do not come to my dressing room unless invited. Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly. Do not take offense to the new way of doing business. It is for the good of my personal life and enjoyment," was leaked by a staff member from Harvey's Chicago-based talk show. A few days later, Harvey met with reporters at the Television Critics Association press tour in Beverly Hills, California, and discussed the memo right off the bat, beginning with a joke about the incident in true Harvey fashion. "I learned 2 things from that email: I can't write, and I should never write," Harvey said, according to Variety. "It was something I wrote a year ago, and someone didn't get a job coming too late, and they got." His lightheartedness continued. "I thought it was cute you all didn't," moving towards a serious note. The Steve host explained that he didn't recognize the severity of the situation until it made national headlines. "I was okay until I saw it on CNN. And that's when I knew I was in a lot of trouble." He said the email was out there, and it wasn't a big deal to me at all. "I'm not a mean-spirited guy. I'm a very congenial guy to people who know me," according to Steve executive producer Shane Farley. Only roughly 10 out of 60 staff members from Chicago were making the move to LA for the show. This wasn't the first time, however, that Harvey spoke out about the leaked note. Near the time of its release in May, Harvey argued that the staff members were ambushing him, which gave him a reason to handle it in this particular way. "I could not find a way to walk from the stage to my dressing room, to sit in my makeup chair, to walk from my dressing room to the stage, or to just sit and have lunch without somebody just walking in," he said. "I've always had a policy where you can come and talk to me. So many people are great around here, but some of them just started taking advantage of it." He added, "Look, man, I'm in my makeup chair and they walk into the room. I'm having lunch and they walk in, they don't knock. I'm in the hallway and I'm getting ambushed by people with friends who come to the show and have me sign this and do this. I just said, wait a minute, and in hindsight, I probably should have handled it a little bit differently." Sending a threatening memo aside, Harvey was also once accused of fraud by his former employee. The disgruntled ex-worker claimed Harvey ripped him off in a bad deal by not paying him thousands of dollars he raised for Harvey's charity. Comedian's agent at the time, Todd Frank, denied the allegations, saying that it sounds fake. Ex-employee Vincent Dimmy, who pressed charges of charity fraud, claimed that Harvey hired him in April 2017 to help raise $20 million for the Steve and Marjorie Foundation, as well as other ventures. According to TMZ, in return for raising the funds, Dimmy was said to receive 12.5% of everything he brought into the foundation. In the lawsuit, Dimmy said he delivered $1 million to the foundation through his great connections. However, Harvey apparently refused to pay Dimmick after finishing the job and seemed to have no intention of paying him at all. Dimmick also claims that while working with Harvey, he gained insight into what the TV host really thought about his fellow entertainers. He revealed that during an investor meeting with Harvey in May of that same year, Harvey blamed Oprah and Tyler Perry for giving him bad financial advice, and also claimed that Barack Obama was the culprit behind his terrible meeting with Donald Trump. A year before, Harvey was accused of being the veteran known as the man with 10 jobs, found himself in hot water after one of his former employees tried to get $5 million out of him for some allegedly racist comments he made on tape. According to Radar Online, the former employee, Dallas native Joseph Cooper, claimed to have videotaped footage of the talk show host going off in a racist tirade about white people, allegedly spewing comments like "spit on white people" and "go assault old white women." Harvey, however, responded to Cooper's claims in a lawsuit of his own. In the documents, he claimed Cooper was trying to extort him by selling old videos of his comedy routines from more than 20 years ago. In court documents, the Family Feud host said Mr. Cooper has initiated a campaign to essentially extort me and embarrass me as I start to build my entertainment career. To make matters worse, it was reported that Joseph had been trying to auction off the tapes to Harvey's employers whenever he was hired for a gig, to inform them of potentially embarrassing material and/or tapes, an attempt to have them influence Harvey to pay for the tapes. Joseph's gripe with Harvey is clearly personal. In an interview with Radar Online, he called the television personality the worst person that's ever been on television. All the recent drama surrounding Harvey started with fellow comedian Katt Williams. The Atlanta star rekindled his years-long feud with Harvey, accusing the Family Feud host of failing to crack Hollywood and stealing from another comic. Speaking in January's episode of the Club Shay podcast, Katt accused Harvey of copying elements of Mark Curry's sitcom Hanging with Mr. Cooper while developing The Steve Harvey Show.